Over the course of 14 days this month, the Mattioli Arena in Leicester has seen bundles of snooker action in the BetVictor Championship League. Today, the final piece in the qualifying jigsaw for the winners group will be affixed. Already safely through, Iran's Hossein Vafai, China's Zhou, world champion Karen Wilson, Leicester's own Mark Selby, former Indian Open champion Matt Selt, and the mightily impressive winner of Group 6 here on Thursday, runaway world number 1, Judd Trump. So this is the closing day of Group 7, which includes only 6 players, following yesterday's withdrawal of Jack Jones. As usual, the top 4, after the round-robin phase, will contest the semi-final playoffs later. Right now, Xiao Guodong and Ricky Walden, both with 3 points, are sitting pretty, but for Zhou Yuelong and Joe O'Connor, it's looking quite bleak. And it's those two who meet in the opening contest on Table 1, where the loser will be in deep trouble. Meanwhile, over on Table 2, which you can follow all day on the Matchroom Multisport YouTube channel, Walden will climb to the top of the table by maintaining his 100% record against Noppon Sankon. So, only 2 matches per table in this session before the crux of the group takes place from 4:30 this afternoon. Joining me in the commentary box for the first match, Peter Lines, and there's a different dynamic now that Jack Jones is out. You'd think, well, 4 from 6 shouldn't be an issue, but of course 2 have to go.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pressure on these 2 players right now. Defeat is probably going to spell almost certain elimination.
Well, it will for Joe O'Connor, that's guaranteed, because he's played 3 matches. As for Zhou Yuelong, he's only played 2, so he could possibly salvage a semi-final place with defeat. But for O'Connor, it's victory or bust.
Yeah, it just shows as well how quickly the game can turn around. He was in the final, was he? I think in Group 6.
He was. Hardly had a shot, because Judd Trump made 3 centuries, but he played brilliantly in the semi-final to overcome Noppon Sankon, and in the round-robin phase, he won 6 matches out of 6, winning 18 frames for the loss of 2.
1.
It's a nice opening pot from Yuelong. Yeah, he didn't look like he was queuing very well yesterday. Kept getting himself into position to win frames and not being able to put them away.
7.
Now, let's see how he's feeling this morning. Could be a nice angle on the blue and straight into the reds. Hit the pink flush. Split the reds far and wide. And again, that surprises me.
30.
I'm gonna probably have to go into the reds next shot anyway. Why not do it there where you're absolutely perfect?
$14.
Yeah, now he's slipped a little bit low on this black. It's absolutely perfect on the blue. I don't really understand his logic.
Of all the top players in the last decade I've seen who've been reluctant to go into the bunch, I think former Masters champion Yan Bingtao would definitely be right up there.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be the modern way these days to pick the reds off. It seems like you should just get the reds crashed open. Seems to have worked out in his favour though, because I think he spotted a plant. The two reds just below the pink.
$33.
That's worked out okay.
$34.
Refereeing this one is Tatiana Wollaston, the wife of Ben Wollaston, who was in the commentary box with us on Monday this week. Tatiana, extremely good at her job, I think.
Yeah, very good. Very good. One of the best referees out there now.
Yeah, definitely. Efficient, yes. Unflustered, yes.
$39.
Yeah, I think in the future for Tatiana, plenty of very high-profile matches officiating.
Yeah, I think it works in her favour as well that she's such a nice person off the table. She sort of gets the respect she deserves on the table.
40.
Yeah, the only match she'll never officiate is one involving Ben. For obvious reasons.
Yeah. I wonder if they've got a family rivalry, Phil, who gets to the World Final first.
Well, of course, can you imagine if Tatiana was picked for a World Championship final in the future and Ben got there as a player?
45.
I think Ben is still sore after the retirement from the Australian Open of Novak Djokovic. He's a massive Djokovic fan, is Ben.
$52.
Not as sore as Alcaraz would have been.
Yeah, know what you mean.
$53.
Yeah, this is a impressive start from Yuelong.
$60.
I arrived pretty early today, and Zhou Yuelong was out on the practice table knocking balls in. It was interesting, actually. He was
61.
practicing quite a few shots with the rest, so clearly he thinks that's a weak spot, or certainly was yesterday. Well, the opening frame of the day wrapped up in a single visit.
68.
He's always been a very good player. He just seems to have lost a little bit of confidence in the last 12 months, but nothing like a few good wins to get that back.
76. $77. 83.
The only thing that Joe O'Connor will be pleased about,
84.
his 138 break, which is in line to win the £500 bonus for the highest of the group. Can't be challenged here.
Yeah, this is not the start Joe O'Connor needed.
$90.
And O'Connor's last match over on table 2 at 4:30 will be against Ricky Walden, who won't be under any great pressure in that.
$91.
Yeah, very, very impressive.
Yeah, Peter, with every justification, you questioned a shot choice in this break early on. And I saw where you were coming from, but it's worked out okay in the end.
97.
Yeah, I just didn't really understand, like, playing another 4, 5, 6 shots to get back to where he was straight away, because he finally went into the reds off the blue when he'd mustered 20 or 30 points, but yeah, it's worked out in his favour.
And that is century break number 7 of the group.
104.
His first.
$106. $109. $113. $118.
Well, you cannot make a better start to a day, to a session, to a match than a total clearance in the opening frame.
124.
From Zhou Yuelong, that was a radical
131
improvement
frame.
on what
Zhou
he
Yuelong.
displayed yesterday. He wins the first frame in considerable style. What an introduction to the day from Zhou Yuelong. 131 break to take a 1-0
Second
lead
frame.
over Joe O'Connor.
Joe O'Connor to break.
So is that the start of a salvage operation? On table 2, the first frame of the day still in progress. Looks as though Ricky Walden is going to win it, but he's not mathematically there yet. He's taking on Noppon Sankom, of course. You know, when it comes to unbelievable starts to a day, one that sticks in my mind, in 1991, you'll recall this, Peter, when the game went open, there were 3 qualifying venues: Bolton, Aldershot and Sheffield. I can't remember where this one happened, but where it was is immaterial. Peter Ebdon went in at 10 o'clock in the morning and first frame had a 147.
And he turned out to be not a bad player.
And what a competitor. What a competitor. If you could get Ebdon's backbone transplanted into some of the players who we know have got abundant talent but are underachievers. That would be such a boost for them. He was one on his own, wasn't he?
Yeah, and you know, obviously he's. I know he's working with a few players these days and that, but I'm just not convinced you can teach what Peter Ebdon had. It was just unique, wasn't it? His heart, you know, his never say die attitude. Yeah, that'd be, if he could pass that on to somebody, that'd be absolutely priceless.
The thing was, when he was 4-0 down in a best of 9, he still thought he would win.
Yeah, absolutely.
One match involving Ebdon, it wasn't especially important, but again, one that sticks in my memory. It was in Dubai. He was playing Jimmy White. He went 4-0 up. White came back to 4-4, and you think, well, you know, White's got all the momentum. He's a wonderful player when things are going his way, and surely he's going to win. And Ebdon was so solid in the deciding frame. You'd have thought he was the one who'd come back from 4-0 down.
This red thin enough to get back down to balk. If not, he's probably going to have to just leave the white on this black cushion somewhere and play the containing safety.
Ricky Walden, by the way, did win the first frame against Noppon Sankon. So as it stands right now, with 10 frames won and 4 lost, he is at the top of the table.
That's a superb shot. Superb shot from where he was. Catching the red. Wafer thin to avoid the corner pocket. I think he's having a go at this red. He's going to try and screw across the table to land on the black into the same pocket.
One.
That has been played absolutely to perfection. What a tremendous shot.
One.
Reds are fairly open, but the black spot is a little bit congested. Maybe I'll try and just trust to a bit of luck here and try and open the area out a little bit. Hope he gets on a red and free the black spot. That is what he's tried, but don't really think he's given it enough pace to get the balls moving. I think it's going to be just a safety shot. Try and get that white down somewhere behind the yellow. I'd like to get in behind the green and brown, but I'm sure that's possible. He's got to be really careful he doesn't kiss that red on the left-hand side.
Draw corner 8.
Zhou's going to be very disappointed with that. black, especially after how good the first initial red was. It's not a good shot, though. With your hand on the table, should be getting that white ball right back into the baulk cushion.
One.
He's kind of asked for that as Yuelong. That has been duly punished. Has he got the angle on the brown to screw back down the table?
Joe O'Connor here will be hoping for two things. Obviously, a victory of his own, but it will also be beneficial for him in terms of the group standings if Walden were to beat Noppon Sankon. The main thing is, you can't control other matches, just control this one and try and improve on yesterday, which was definitely a downgrade from what it came before in Group 6.
And again, he's not happy with that. He's tried to screw down into the reds and he's caught the bump of the middle pocket, which has, again, put him out of position. Now, does this red cut into the left-hand corner? He's having a go at it. The green's there if he can pot it.
Draw corner 5.
This will surprise you, Peter. These two have only played on one previous occasion. It was a best of 5, but it was also a ranking event. The British Open in 2021. Last 16, actually, right here at the Mattioli Arena. Zhou Yuelong made a century and won 3-2.
Is that an omen for today? He's already had the century.
Yeah, that event, best of 5s, I think is a little bit harsh, isn't it? I've got no problem with best of 7s, but 5 is just a wee bit short for me.
Yeah.
In a ranking context.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah, but if my memory serves me correct, I'm almost certain it's still got, the tournament itself still got won by one of the top players.
Mark Williams.
Mark Williams, yeah. So, you know, it doesn't kind of seem to matter. I mean, most of the pros like to play longer matches. They say it's you know, it's a leveler, but when the matches are short, but you still find that those top boys come out on top.
Well, do you remember the one-off WST Pro Series event? That was best of 3s, and Williams won that. Again, ranking event status bestowed to that tournament. So, yeah, he can win when you've got to get to 18 frames. He can win when you've got to get to 2.
He's another one of those players, though, that I'm not sure you could teach what he's got. He's just got a manner about him that is just so calm and, like, unruffled that I'm not sure you can that's just him as a person. Another nice long pot from Joe O'Connor. That's his 3rd in this frame.
Which technically is a good sign.
One.
Yeah, both very good established professionals now. O'Connor and Yuelong. How did they get on the tour, these two, Phil? Do we know?
I will check. Zhou Yuelong, of course, was on because he won the World Amateur at the age of 15. That gets you on.
Five.
Again, that's another not great positional shot from Joe
Touch
O'Connor.
and roll.
Good thing is he's touching and he can play the white now anywhere onto the table. Can he get it in behind the green? Is it hard enough? No, is the answer.
Go, 1 of 5.
Oh, fairly routine safety shot for Yuelong. And that is a massive let-off because, although having said that, he's played a terrible shot to get the double kiss.
Yeah, O'Connor came onto the tour through the EBSA playoffs. 2018, that year he also won the English Amateur Championship. English Amateur Championship, first contested in 1916.
Wow.
So predates the World Championship by 11 years. And of course, our commentary colleague, Stephen Horworth, is the defending champion. Well, the first frame was perfect. This is imperfect. Quite a scrappy start.
Yeah, very, and Joe has obviously already been in amongst the balls 3 times and only mustered 18 points.
So the first winner of the English Amateur Championship was Charles Jacques, who defended in 1917. As for the third winner, Harry Lukens. And his notable distinction, he was from the United States of America.
This is a much better chance for Joe O'Connor now. Really poor safety shot from Yuelong.
1.
Caught the ball way too thick.
By the way, if you're watching us in America, nice and early,
6.
breakfast time snooker for you on the East Coast, middle of the night snooker on the West. Thanks for your support and your company.
7.
Yesterday, Peter, you were mentioning the Moscone Cup and my experience over there. Snooker is definitely becoming more popular in the USA. (2-0) to Ricky Walden on table 2. Already home and dry in the playoffs.
Yeah, there's a pro on the tour now from USA, I believe.
Yes. More and more tables there. When Judd Trump played in the US Open 9-ball in Atlantic City a few years back, it created extraordinary interest and what was really quite strange. So many of his fellow competitors in that tournament were asking Judd for his autograph. What was ludicrous, the bookmakers made Trump favourite to win it, and he got no chance because he got no experience in 9-ball. He was heavily beaten in the end by Jason Shaw.
Yeah, not much to do here for Joe O'Connor. Ball's nicely positioned.
27.
Already got a 45 points lead.
Just mentioning 9-ball there. One of the first big major World 9-ball Tour ranking events of the year will be played right here in the United Kingdom. Actually, here in the English Midlands at the Telford International Centre. Tickets are currently on sale. It's a really good day out. You get to see loads and loads of world-class players. It's May 6 to 11. Telford International Centre, of course, a couple of months earlier, will host the Players' Championship in snooker.
Yeah, Joe, just come up a little short on this red. Should be okay, just drop it in. Having said that,
34.
he's got it fractionally too thick and he's left it hanging over the pocket. Now can Yuelong mount a counter-attack.
Joe O'Connor, 30.
When you're well behind, your chances of winning a frame depend on how the balls sit. Well, for Zhou Yuelong, they're favourable. We saw a frame here earlier this week which had quite a big influence, actually. Kept Joe O'Connor in the tournament. Stuart Bingham was 67 in front with 67 on against Neil Robertson, and all of the Reds were awkward or on cushions, and yet Robertson still won the frame. It was highly unlikely when he was so far behind, but he got the job done. Whereas here, you can see the pattern for a clearance.
7.
Yeah, there's not much to do. The positional side, all the potting, all 5 reds. Nicely in the open.
8.
And these are the frames that really hurt your opponent. He's had 4 chances as O'Connor.
if a player wins a decider in a big match and they do an interview straight afterwards, you so often hear them say, all I wanted was one chance. As Peter has said, O'Connor's had multiple chances in this frame. But now he's justifiably worried he's going to fall 2-0 down.
23.
It's hard to see where this one can go wrong.
24.
Reds and colours are absolutely perfect.
$31. 32.
Yeah, we'll probably see him put the red in between the pink and black next. And maybe go down for blue or balt colour off the last red, just to make the clearance even easier.
40.
Be able to play on the alt colours now though, so probably gonna have to play off the black. Shouldn't be a problem.
$47.
Over on table 2, Ricky Walden's nicely in the balls. Looking at a 3-0 win over Nopon Sankom. He's not there yet. Away short, but he's got the chance to bring it up.
Yeah.
54.
Just taking the opportunity to have a look exactly where he wants to leave the cue ball in potting this yellow, to have the perfect angle to come out for the brown. Two in front, now 4 in front, so just green, brown and blue.
$59.
As soon as O'Connor undercut that red to the top corner pocket, you couldn't help but suspect this might happen.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's taken them well. He's not left himself any difficult shots. He's controlled the cue ball really nicely.
$63.
Short there, though. So there is just a grain of doubt about the blue.
$68.
No problem.
$74.
Yeah, impressive. Impressive stuff. Get punished for his mistakes, and then first mistake O'Connor's made has been severely punished.
In the frame, Zhou Yuelong.
Yes, so Zhou Yuelong, who made 131 total clearance in the first frame, clears up from well behind in the second with 81. Good stuff from him. 2-0 ahead. For all of his struggles yesterday, Zhou Yuelong looks a different player today. Much, much better. He's 2-0 up on Joe O'Connor, who now has to win the next 3 frames to stand any chance of making the semi-final playoffs. This has been a packed week for him. He's played in all 3 groups, all 6 days. He came close to making the winners' group in Group 6, denied only by the brilliance of Judd Trump in the final. But I think here, he would need now something miraculous. Mathematically not out of it, but he's on the brink.
Yeah, and I think for Zhou, he's making far too many mistakes to mount a serious challenge. He's getting chances. Close with an attempted long red. He has left a chance. Ooh, it's close.
Isn't it strange though, that shot, that semi-blind cut back? If you're going to see it missed, far more often than not, it's just when a player overcuts the ball. It's obviously an alignment trick.
Too bad. He looks like he has left this red. Certainly a possibility, but positional side is not easy. Don't think he's blessed with a lot of cue power. Yuelong. Yes, couldn't get back out into the open, but that's not too bad. He's finished low enough on the blue where he can go in between the green and brown and back down the table for the red just above the black.
Needs a bounce, and it's bounced enough.
6.
Yeah, now needs an angle on something, probably the blue, to get into the reds. Not be happy with that. Let's go on angle, but again, Judd Trump could manufacture enough cue power to try and split these reds up still, but it's going to be difficult. He's going to have to use the cushion and back into them. It's a great effort, but just couldn't quite generate enough, I don't think. It was a fantastic effort.
We made the point yesterday that one of the reasons we've seen so many high breaks this week, the balls have been spreading beautifully, but from that particular kind of shot, you needed to give them so much welly.
Yeah, when they're so tightly packed together and you catch one of the balls full on, they don't really move very far. Still thinks he can pot this red. But this is super awkward cueing. And the position again, not guaranteed. from where he was.
And also a good lesson for any aspiring match players. Did you notice how circumspect he was when he was removing the spider? Didn't want to catch a red and make a foul shot. Oh, and look at this now.
Yeah, two really
20.
good shots there. Definite chance to
20.
wrap this match up. Although that red didn't go in cleanly because he caught it slightly too thick. Now he's a little bit low on the black. Gonna have to play a delicate cannon again and hope he can land on a red nicely. Yeah, not out of the woods yet. He's on a red, but
28.
again, the positional aspect, it's going to take some working out. He's going to have to cannon these 4 reds and just try and run out slightly.
29.
And that's what happens. Now, can he get through the gap to play the pink? If not, it's going to have to be the long blue with the red going over the corner pocket.
Pressure on this, it's a potential match winner or frame loser. Sweet. Now that's the kind of cueing he wasn't delivering yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. You saw the difference. No hesitation, a nice confident strike of the ball. Didn't overhit it, didn't underhit it. Just cued it perfect.
Over on table 2, an improved outlook for Noppon Sankam. He was 2-0 down and 45-0 down in the third frame against Ricky Walden. But Walden missed a black off its spot.
22.
It didn't lead to this chance directly, but it gave Sankam a lifeline.
Didn't play that black great though, did he? Noppon left himself a really
41.
tricky shot on the yellow, and position on the green is awkward. Meanwhile, let's see if that practice with the rest this morning pays off for Yuelong. He looks a different player today, Phil.
Yes, and he plays Noppon Sankam next, over on table 2. Yeah, he's right back in contention for this.
49.
Of course, most players would never have to play only 2 matches on the first day of a group, but with it being a revised schedule due to the withdrawal of Jack Jones, that was the case for Zhou Yuelong. So he's still got 3 matches,
50.
including this one. Today, he can turn things around. After that Noppon Sankam match this afternoon, he plays Dave Gilbert on this table at 4:30.
Yeah, and that could be a good thing for him, especially the way he's played in this match. Everybody has days where everything just goes right for you. You feel great, you hit the ball well, balls break up for you nicely, and he's thoroughly deserved his 2-0 lead here. Just got to be a little bit careful here with the positional side. Doesn't want to screw it off in the middle or run through and leave himself nowhere.
58.
He's almost at the winning line. Oh, listen. Stun through the gap maybe. Off the black cushion and back out again. Doesn't want to really risk any cannons. Yeah, that's the shot. Although he didn't really mean that kiss, that's worked out perfect. Just one more red and the black. We'll see him home.
64.
Yes, and winning was imperative. Winning 3-0 is a bonus. He's won, lost record in terms of frames is now only -1.
71.
5 frames won, 6 lost. Yes, things are much rosier for Zhou Yuelong.
72.
I can tell you Nopon Sankam did win the 3rd frame against Ricky Walden on the blue. Peter was saying about the tough yellow he had. He played it perfectly, knocked in the yellow and dislodged the awkward green from the ball cushion, left it right over the pocket and went from there. So Walden's lead reduced to 2-1. As such, there will be a hiatus
85.
on table 2 for a while because, as we've mentioned, the next match over there is Nopon Sankam against Zhou Yuelong.
86.
It will only be 5 minutes or so between the two contests after Sankam and Walden wraps up.
92.
This has been a brilliant display this morning.
93.
There was a hit in the
100.
70s, I believe. What a difference a day makes.
$101.
The next line was 24 little hours. And that most certainly applies to Zhou Yuelong. He's come out this morning and this has been a very accomplished performance.
108.
Yeah, superb.
$110.
I suppose the small consolation for Joe O'Connor is he'll
130.
probably be home in about 10 minutes, Phil.
Indeed. Of course, he still has one more match to play, but I think he can go home and come back for that one. And he's had a
107.
profitable week. Of course, he was the overall runner-up in the Championship League last season, lost out to Mark Selby in the final. The winners group will not feature
120.
O'Connor this time, though. It might feature Zhou Yuelong. It will if he carries on playing like this.
128. $135 in the frame.
Well, that was world class.
Zhou.
131 in the first frame, an 81 clearance from well behind in the second, and then 135 to complete victory. So Zhou Yuelong is back on the road to possible semi-final qualification. He has his first point on the board. Joe O'Connor is eliminated from the tournament. Next up, in around 5 minutes' time, Table 1 will host Xiao Guodong against David Gilbert. This is the updated group table. Group 7, BetVictor Championship League Snooker. And look at Zhou Yuelong off the foot of the table, very impressively indeed. Couple of centuries, couple of total clearances in fact, and a vital clearance in the middle frame of his 3-0 win over Joe O'Connor. So one definitive, O'Connor, regardless of what happens in his last match later on, he will not make the playoffs. So his tournament is basically over. Xiao Guodong and Ricky Walden looking good. Walden's playing Noppon Sancom at the moment. Walden leads 2-1. He was well in front at 2-0. Missed a block off its spot, and just as I'm talking to you, he was in the balls again in the fourth frame and overcut a Brown to the middle pocket. So maybe Sancom can pull something out of the fire there. Sancom stays on table 2 to take on Zhou Yuelong. Here it will be Xiao Guodong against Dave Gilbert. Victory for Xiao, it would seem. Nowhere near as important as it is for his opponent.
First frame. Zhou Guodong to break.
I think that's fair, Stephen. Stephen Hallworth's in the commentary box with me.
Yeah, I would agree, certainly. David Gilbert has really, well, it's hard to say he struggled because he sort of played one way in this group. He's been all-out attack right from the off, so it tends to be the case. If you're potting everything when you're playing like that, you're going to win matches, but the odd ball you miss, inevitably the balls will all be there for your opponent. He's played very loose, David Gilbert, and that's why he finds himself in the position he is. 3 matches played with just the single point to his name. Xiao Guodong, however, has played quite nicely. Started the day off brilliantly yesterday with a victory over fellow countryman Zhou Yuelong with 2 century breaks. Made a 1-3-5 as well against Noppon, so he's probably played the better snooker, certainly, but these groups are very tight and anything can happen. Basically, David Gilbert, it feels like a must-win game for him.
Yes, the ideal scenario for him would be to win this match and for Walden to beat Sancom on table 2. This was a wobbler, wasn't it?
1.
Yes, and because he didn't pot the red as he intended, he landed very awkward on that black, but that was an excellent pot.
8.
Queuing over a red ball, badly hampered. Although if he's going to keep this break going, he needs another good pot here.
Zhou Guodong 8.
Dave Gilbert's had the better of their meetings on the tour. Outside of the Championship League, he's won 5 of their 7 clashes. Well, what happened there? We don't see many kicks, but maybe that was a bad contact. It certainly seemed that way. Surely Gilbert won't miss a shot like that by so much. Xiao Guodong will be hoping for a repeat of what happened between these two in Group 7 of this tournament 10 years ago. He beat Dave Gilbert 3-2 in the group phase, then 3-0 in the playoffs. In the group final, in fact. but lately, Gilbert's had a couple of very good results against Xiao Guodong on a big occasion. I'll tell you about that in a moment. But over on table 2, Ricky Walden could have a chance here to wrap up a 3-1 win. The brown not in his favour. The rest of the balls most certainly are, Stephen.
Yeah, the key shot is clearly going to be green to brown. Quite deceiving as well. It's sort of near the left side cushion. Very, very cute angle into that middle pocket. So I'd ideally like to get in behind it, get the cue ball somewhere on that left side cushion for options of middle or corner pocket for the brown.
12.
We'll see how Ricky goes about this. Well, he's got the perfect angle on this green, and where he's pointing his cue there, that's where he'd like to be, somewhere on that side cushion. If he overruns it, he might have the brown to the middle. If he hits it just right, he'll have it to the corner. Just wants to come across the face of the blue.
20.
Not quite got into the cue ball as well as he would have liked, so this
17.
is now very tricky. Needed a little more stun on that cue ball. Just send it a fraction wider off the cushion. Try and get closer to the brown. How awkward's this then? In between left corner pocket and right corner pocket.
It's a shot you do not want at any stage of any frame. Oh, that was terrific. Okay. There's still some doubt about the frame because this blue is not a gimme, but he floated that one in terrifically.
Yeah, that brown was a superb shot. Playing into a blind pocket. Had to fully commit to his line, and he's knocked in the blue comfortably, so it's going to be another 3-1 win for Ricky Walden. Another point on the board. Great performance.
32. Frame in the match. Ricky Walden.
Indeed, and when you think psychologically, he had a blow this time yesterday. He beat Jack Jones nicely, making a century in a 90-odd. And then Jones withdrew, so that match didn't count. So he had to start all over again, and subsequently he's won 4 matches out of 4, and he tops the table. Good on him.
Yes, and of course making the most of his late call-up, Ricky Walden. Fang Zhengyi decided to withdraw from the event. Ricky got the call, and he hasn't looked back.
So the Walden win over Noppon Sankar, a boost for both Dave Gilbert and indeed Zhou Yuelong. But of course, you can't get through groups relying on other people. You have to do something yourself, and Gilbert has to get going. Yeah, I was mentioning that Gilbert has had 2 very important results against Xiao Guodong recently.
40.
In last year's World Championship, he beat Xiao 10-6 in the final qualifying round. That led to big things because he went on to the semi-finals, knocking out defending champion Luca Brazil on the way. And he also beat Zhou Guodong 6-4 in the last 32 of this season's UK Championship.
Now we'd like an angle to go into the pack, but the direct route from the blue into them is not ideal because of the pink being massively in the way. If he's going to play the blue, got to catch that pink full in the face. Yeah, that was always very, very difficult. He hedged his bets there, he took a gamble, Zhou Guodong. It looked a lot worse than it actually is, I suppose, because look at the distance between the pink and the pack there. In fact, he potted the pink.
Zhou Guodong 41.
There was always a chance that could happen. Now, where's this pink going to be respotted as well?
When the pink went in for that split second, Xiao was really hoping he wasn't going to go into the bunch, but he ended up doing so. But I think the luck might have switched with, as Stephen said, this replacement. Trouble was Gilbert could still see enough of the cue ball not to be hampered. Quite a turnaround, Stephen.
Yeah, that was a very good pot actually, because as you say, he was right in amongst them there. And a lot of the hard work in this break has been done for Dave Gilbert. And you can see the red by the pink spot will pass to this right corner pocket. Three reds by the pink as well are pretty open, so it's a half chance for Dave.
Second match of the day on table 2 has just broken off.
15.
Sankom looking to overcome the disappointment of that defeat by Walden. Badly needs a win in that match. It's his last contest. Yuelong, if he can win it, he'll be in the thick of things for the playoff.
20. Dave Gilbert 20.
I think that previous shot just sums up the past 2 days for David Gilbert. As he missed that red, he went back to his chair saying, how can you finish there? And he's right, sometimes when things aren't going your way, the balls just punish you. He's landed in a spot there that was so awkward. He could have been right behind another easier red. And I think that probably affected the shot that he ended up trying, the red to the yellow pocket. Had he have played for it into the yellow pocket, he probably would have potted it, but the frustration from the previous shot certainly affected that one.
7. Eight.
If Xiao wins this match, he will go back top of the table from Walden. And then he'll have a very lengthy wait before the playoffs begin. Probably around 6 o'clock this evening. This is his last round-robin contest.
14.
Just to reiterate, there will be the bigger gap than normal between sessions, because there's only 2 matches on both tables in this session as a consequence of it being a 6-man group because of the withdrawal yesterday of Jack Jones. So that is frame ball. And Stephen, it's not an outcome to the frame that will lighten Gilbert's mood.
No, certainly not. The last shot he played, Dave, he wasn't happy one bit, was he?
20.
He went back to his seat. I was just about to say, it looked in the background like he was doing some meditation, and he still seems to be doing it, or... Well, he's certainly trying to talk himself into some positivity, but hard to see where it's going to come from for Dave Gilbert.
Don't know about meditation, he might need medication because he's feeling sick right now.
28.
But he's got to tell himself that things can turn around. That's the way of it in the Championship League.
31.
Yeah, because the simple fact is, if he wins this game and then he wins his next, he's in the playoffs.
35.
So he's got to try and dig deep here. I wonder if he even knows. I'm sure he does. You know, the players aren't daft. They quite often
40.
study all the permutations of the group, but Dave Gilbert must know that he's got a chance to get out of this group and into the playoffs, give himself a chance. He has to get the win.
46.
And right now the only win has gone to Zhou Guodong in the first frame. Finishing off for the half-century clearance after Dave Gilbert missed that red to a distant baulk pocket. So Xiao, who won 3 matches yesterday, has taken the first frame today. Can David Gilbert, twice a Crucible semi-finalist, start to show his true colours? Time is left, but it's also running out.
Well, the safety shot hasn't quite worked out for Dave because he's pushed a red over to the left side, which Zhou Guodong has access to, so he'll be attempting this. He's knocked in some brilliant long balls over the past day and a half, Xiao. I'd love to find another one here. Yeah, again, that was just so well struck.
Apart from what he gains from this tournament, I think Gilbert would do well to get his mind in gear, because on Monday he takes on Ben Wollaston in the German Masters over in Berlin. A couple of good performances here, or coming back to win the group, I think in terms of that tournament would do Gilbert wonders.
Yeah, I think so, because it's very difficult when you play a certain way and you think in a certain way, as Dave Gilbert is at the minute, to then just brush that off and go again in the next event. There's no doubt those negative thoughts and negative attributes will stay with you going into that next tournament. As hard as you try to reset and go again, he wants to try and give himself something positive to leave here with. Even that just be a single win or a good frame, something to think about.
It's not worked out ideally, but it could have been a whole lot worse.
Well, he needs that cue ball to run, and it's not going to, so he's marginally out of position. Was playing into an area there, Zhou, and actually seemingly landed on nothing. The safety shot isn't straightforward either, because he can't get to the edge of the pack. So not able to gain any sort of advantage there, Xiao. Landed in a spot where he couldn't do much. Well, presumably Dave was trying to cut off access to this single red in baulk, try and leave the cue ball somewhere in line with the green. So immediately handed control of the table back to Zhou Guodong by allowing him to play that safety.
Yeah, Xiao is back in Berlin for the German Masters. Plays Fan Zhengyi in the first round on Tuesday. Now that's a cracking pot. Deserves position, but nothing is doing.
David Gilbert, 1. One.
Now you could say leaving that lone red is a little unlucky, but the way the pack was set up, there was always the possibility that could happen, especially with excess pace on the white off the cushion.
One.
Well, he's looking for an angle off this black. He's got one, but not a favourable one to go into the reds. Wanted that cue ball to travel a fraction further up the table. Can he just catch them? Yeah, he had to play it at that sort of pace to get the cue ball into them any harder, and it would have arced around the pack, so he was probably a ball or two's roll away there from being perfect on that black. And once again, he's fallen out of position.
Save Gilbert 8.
Start of this frame, though, I think we have seen a few positive signs. Just in a couple of shot selections, general attitude. It's all looking a lot more positive for Zhou Yuelong on table 2. He's got the first chance in the opening frame against Noppon Sankam, and a very good one at that. And bear in mind, we know from what we've seen here earlier, he's banging the scoring groove.
Yeah, it's not been a bad standard, this group, by any stretch, but it feels like it's not reached the heights anywhere near the other groups, just purely because of how ridiculous the scoring was in particularly Group 5 and Group 6. There was century breaks being knocked in. It felt like every frame, every other frame. It was incredible. I think we got very lucky seeing that sort of standard from the players. It was pretty much one visit stuff for 4 days straight.
Yeah, Group 5, we saw 33 centuries, which is the most in any group in the Championship League history. In that group, one session alone produced 17 centuries. That was 3 best of 5s on one table, 3 best of 5s on the other. Again, an unprecedented total for a session.
Yeah, that's a good return of safety. That Q just runs on and puts off access down this right side. Dave's got the very thin edge of this red on the side cushion. Needs to be careful of the double kiss. No, he's played it very, very well. Well, it felt like it was all his eggs in one basket there. He fully committed to that long red. Played it in such a way that he expected to be on the black. He may have been, Had this red have gone in, he got very close. It probably felt and looked very good when he initially struck the cue ball, but just not quite accurate enough. And that has been the theme of Dave Gilbert's Group 7. Just not quite there. Now, can Zhou Guodong find some inroads in this frame? Like it's taken a while to get going, but the reds are nice. Oh, it's a good pot, but that's a terrible positional shot. A good job the red went in, though. At least he still can play a good safety shot. He'll be bitterly disappointed with that one not to be on the black. David Gilbert will be absolutely buzzing that he's not on the black.
Xiao, Guodong 1.
And that's another very well played safety shot. Took the time there and took the discipline, or had the discipline, sorry, to play a good safety shot. Not just about getting the cue ball close to the baulk cushion. The players are looking for ways to cut off routes back to baulk, make the return as difficult as possible. And that's the result. That wasn't necessarily a bad shot from Dave. It was such a good shot from Zhou Guodong that he backed Dave into that corner. Forced him into playing a very low percentage safety shot. Well, Dave has been unlucky on a few occasions in this game. But I think it's his time to have a little bit of form. How has he not left anything for Zhou Guodong from that safety shot? Incredible, really, to leave the cue ball down this business end of the table and not leave anything. It seemed harder to do that. Well, considering how open the frame has looked for a long period of time now, finally one of the players gets a good scoring chance. David Gilbert nicely in amongst them. He probably won't concern himself with the black. The pink and the blue are fine enough to work off for now. Got 4, 5, 6 loose reds in open play
7.
before he needs to concern himself with either of the 2 reds on the top cushion.
I think it's important for Gilbert to apply himself here. Just dig in. Not saying play slowly or anything like that, but just take an extra couple of seconds on each shot. And try and build some rhythm
40.
through gaining quality table time. We repeatedly say things can turn around quickly in the Championship League. Prime example being Zhou Yuelong, who's
20.
taken the first frame from Noppon Sankam on table 2. And I can tell you, actually,
21.
Zhou's got a really good early chance in the second frame as well. Now, bear in mind, he was the cellar dweller overnight. He was bottom of the table. Now, all of a sudden, the playoffs are a
27.
realistic possibility.
$28. $34. $35.
They'll be playing down for the red just right and beneath the black spot. Wants an angle off it. It's okay, he's pretty parallel to the red, which means he can get out for the pink once again, and then he'll only need the red in balk.
42.
Another very well struck shot from Dave. Doesn't want to be straight on this pink. Wants a little low angle just to screw up past the middle pocket. And there you see he's landed, well, pretty dead straight. Again, just the run of the ball not quite going his way. It's more difficult now to get up for that red. To try and pinch a bit of the pocket, and he's done very, very well.
Yeah, creating an angle that didn't seem to be there. And now this is frame ball.
$49.
Now, from here on in, are we going to see some Gilbert grit?
54. Dave Gilbert, 54 and a free.
Well, it wasn't advisable to remove the black off the side cushion, but his opponent needed 3 snookers anyway. So Dave Gilbert equalises. On table 1, a really vital contest for one of the players, not for Zhou Guodong, who has done enough to make the playoffs already, but for Dave Gilbert, a win would be very useful indeed. Just to give you some information about how the day will progress. Gilbert's back at 4:30 on table 1 against Zhou Yuelong. That will be a playoff shootout. If Gilbert were to win this, it might well be anyway.
Well, he's controlled the cue ball nicely there to keep himself top side of the blue. The red above the black will pot. He'll play on that now. Well, he's played a really poor shot there. He needed right-hand side on the cue ball to widen it off the cushion.
Yeah, when you're commentating and someone plays a shot like that, you naturally think, well, surely they might have spied a plant, or a ball will go that deceptively looked as though it wouldn't go, but that wasn't the case there at all. It was just a horrible mistake from Xiao.
Yeah, that type of shot, you've got to err on the side of caution and make sure you get low enough down the table for the red. If you finish low on the red, that's fine, because you can still go up for the blue. And by almost overcompensating the cue ball, I say you guarantee yourself a next shot. The fact that played it pretty quickly, almost half-heartedly, expected to be on the red, but complete misjudgment.
The big news on table 2. Nopon Sankar needs multiple snookers in the second frame. Looks as though Zhou Yuelong is going to make it 5 frames out of 5 this morning and take a 2-0 lead.
Well, he's got a clear and obvious pack of reds to play off, but he's choosing against it to try and contain the situation, because it'd be too difficult to try and cover this red close to this left corner pocket. The intention of playing that shot was that Dave Gilbert will come to the table and move that red away now, and that will end the stalemate.
Thinking, you know, earlier today, one of the notable features of this week, the lack of re-racks. We're not going to see one here now either, but normally over the course of a week's action you'll see 1 or 2, maybe even more than that. I can't recall one.
It's because there's been so many frames that have been open and attacking, but talk me through that previous shot from Dave Gilbert. That was a shocker. How has he left that red available for Zhou Guodong into the right corner pocket? He's smiling, but he can't believe what he's done.
Well, sometimes, you know, in snooker, I think commentators use the word careless too often in the wrong context. But that really was careless from Gilbert. Extremely careless.
5.
Tough shot that he's tried to play there, Zhou Guodong. He was trying to get up the table for the blue, but the pace required to get there, and using the top spin, it always reverses off the cushion on impact. Holds the cue ball, needed to be lower down on the white.
Zhou Guodong 6.
Again, slight problems for Zhou Guodong here, not able to get the cue ball back to baulk, so just trying to contain things, drop onto this red on the top cushion. Wants to get right in behind it. Well, I wonder if Dave will be tempted by this red now down the rail. Try and pot it in the left corner. They've been slamming these in at pace. They've been accepting in them as well, the pockets. Not really a shot you want to be taking on, or should be taking on, really. He might look to try and play it in such a way that he can get the cue ball up the table and not leave anything easy for Xiao should he miss it. But he hasn't missed it. That's a brilliant shot. For me, it's all about mindset. If the players believe the table is to be playing on the tight side, there's no way you stand behind that and feel confident over knocking it in. But when you are confident that the pockets are playing on the generous side, it almost invites you to play that, encourages you to play them. And quite often you see they get them in the middle of the pocket anyway. If you hit the middle, they'll go in on any table.
Over on table 2, at one point on the last red, Noppon Sankam needed 3 snookers. Well, he's just got 7 penalty points because Zhou Yuelong failed to escape a snooker and hit the black. So only 1 snooker needed now by Noppon Sankam. So Zhou not quite at 2-0 yet. Apart from that very sloppy nestle up, which left a red, I think Gilbert in the last frame in a bit has been a little more switched on, but then you see that shot where he caught so much of the near jaw, it was almost shocking. It's not an easy shot, especially at pace, but that was nowhere near.
David Gilbert, 5.
Well, that was a nice pot because he could have been left something a lot easier than that into the left corner pocket. It was very thin, that red, and he's had a favourable flick on the green to hold the cue ball for the yellow. Been a very cagey frame, this. Again, similar to the previous one where the reds have all looked very nice right from the start. They've opened up nicely, but neither player able to get in and keep themselves in. Now, what sort of angle has he got on this red?
3.
A little too much to just run through and chip the red away from the black, so may look to try and screw off the black, back up the table. Almost a stunny screw, this.
4.
He avoided it using the side cushion, so back out for the pink. Tricky chance. It's quite congested. Needs to be very precise with his cue ball.
On the other table, Zhou Yuelong has staved off the great escape attempt from Noppon Sankon. Zhou leads 2-0. Of course, with
10.
number 1 in the group playing number 4 in the semi-finals, 2 playing 3. The way things are going, it's not beyond the bounds of possibility. We could see an all-Chinese final to this group.
Well, now this becomes a great chance for Xiao to take a 2-1 lead. The pink will be respotted on its own spot. 3-4 reds in open play.
23.
Already nicely in front in this frame.
Thirty.
Dave again in the background there. He can't bring himself to look. At least those seats are comfy.
Yes, regular and keen observers of the Championship League will know those seats have been used for years. Many moons ago, I did a piece to camera, sitting in those chairs, explaining how the format worked. And I can tell you, they are comfy. But if Dave Gilbert were to lose this frame, he wouldn't be comfortable in this group.
44.
He would be precarious.
So red and colour required for Zhao Guodong here. No heroics with this, just pop the red out for the pink.
45.
Yes, in goes frame ball. He would like one more pot to make absolutely sure.
51.
And it's not there.
51. And a frame.
Well, needing only one snooker, 54 behind with 51 on the table. I think that tells us a lot about Dave Gilbert's mindset. He concedes, and so Zhao Guodong takes a 2-1 lead. Dave Gilbert has to win the last couple of frames here to vastly improve his chances of making the playoffs. If he
Frame
were to
4, Dave
lose
Gilbert, a break.
this match, he would definitely be struggling. Big time.
I think he's struggling in general, isn't he, Dave Gilbert? It's not nice to see. Feels like it's going to take something really special to just even turn this match around. You mentioned next week as well, plays Ben Wollaston out in the German Masters. It's a very taxing game, snooker, at the best of times. Even when you're in good spirits, it can be very, very tough, regardless of what's going on off the table. Playing the game to a level consistently well is very, very difficult, especially when you're at the top end of the rankings, as someone like Dave Gilbert has been for such a long period of time. Hopefully he can find something and turn things around.
Yes, I would fully endorse that. Always gone on really well with Dave, and we all know when he's playing well, he's terrific to watch. Case in point there, what a cracking pot.
1.
I will say this though, in this match the balls have not been too kind to him. Look at this, just that little flick off the red and the white finishes up near a side cushion. Little incidents like that make a big difference, don't they?
Yeah, massive, because had he have missed that little flick to that red, the cue ball was going close to actually flicking the red away from the blue. On another day, that probably happens and he's away, but as it stands, he's got to now recover this situation with a brilliant pot to a baulk colour. And it's not just the pot that's hard, it's getting the cue ball out. And he's eyeing up this pink, which is just as tough. Got to fully commit to this. This is such a tough pot. And that is very, very well cued from David Gilbert. And that is certainly the best shot he's played in this match.
Well, that's the kind of shot you don't fancy when you're in the zone, let alone when things aren't going in your direction. And again, not the most favourable positional kiss. The red to middle shouldn't be a problem, but when you're cutting a ball thin like this, control of the cue ball can be a headache.
I can tell you exactly what David Gilbert will be thinking right now.
8.
It'll be along the lines of, what must I do to find a good positional shot? Or what must I do to land nice on my next ball?
Now, by the way, this week, I don't think I've ever seen so many realistic 147 attempts. And we might have another in progress on table 2. Nopon Sankam about to pot his
30.
6th black with the same amount of reds. It's not an awkward ball on the table. We'll keep you up to date, and well, we'll drop over there now to see whether the Thai can make one here. He knows what to do. He's done it before. In fact, he made the first 147 of the season.
50. Dave Gilbert, 15.
He's very, very good around the black spot, Nopon Sankam. He makes so many maximum breaks in practice.
48.
I've been on the receiving end of so many myself down the years against him.
Yeah, Sancom actually made the final 147 of last season in the World Championship qualifiers against Andy Hicks, and then the first 147 of this season against Amir Sakosh in the Saudi Arabia Masters. The latter was worth £50,000. He's made 3 in total. We will be back for the crunch if it gets that far.
Yeah, and let's not forget, should Noppon make a 147 in the World Championships this season, he'll receive a very healthy £147,000 bonus for 2 maximums in the big events.
Yeah. The events you're talking about, Saudi, which he's ticked the box, UK Championship, Masters, and, as you say, the World Championship.
One.
Again, look at this from Dave, a brilliant pot, and he's landed in no man's land.
Dave Gilbert, 1.
Well, he played that one in a very strange way, and it's actually played quite well. All happening on table 2. Noppon Sancom thought he'd lost position, but he knocked a plant on, would you believe? So the 147 continues. The 147 attempt continues, as Gilbert has a chance for a big knock himself.
Looking to get amongst the black spot as quickly as possible, Dave. Played a brilliant shot there just to navigate his way
6.
back down this business end.
Seven. Dave Gilbert, 7.
On table 2, it's 10 reds, 10 blacks for Sancom, and they are perfect, let me tell you.
1. Eight.
Meanwhile, Dave, once again, not the first time in this group that he's missed a black off the spot. Not the sort of thing that will improve anyone's mood at any level.
Oh, and I can tell you, Noppon Sancom missed quite a simple red on 88. So the 12th red goes astray. At least he wins the frame. But boy, what a chance to make a 147. We've had so many of them, and yet it's proved elusive. That maximum this week.
7.
Yeah, so Sancom on the board, Zhou Yuelong leading 2-1. 2-1 here. Might well become 3-1 after that missed black from Gilbert.
23. 24.
Talking about 147 attempts, Steve, and I think you'll agree, we've had so many. I honestly can't list them all. It must be near 10.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly is. There was 3 really good ones in the last group.
31.
Of course, 2 missed blacks, 2 missed final blacks. This goes to show that the players instantly recognise what the tables are playing like and how the conditions are. The big thing for me in a maximum attempt is how the ball's open, because the players are so good at keeping themselves on the high value colours that usually in a maximum attempt it's very much about how the split goes when you go into them, but they have been opening so well here at the Mattioli Arena. These tables have played brilliantly, everyone will tell you the same.
39.
And the fact that the pockets have played on the generous side helps, but when the ball's open, it really does create a lot of opportunities. Because these guys, they're knocking in maximum breaks all day long in practice, you know. It's not uncommon for them.
40.
But it's amazing, even when there's no crowd, there's still pressure on them. Noppon Sangam, as you say, was absolutely A1 perfect there, and well, he's missed a straightforward red from nowhere, and that can only be down to nerves.
46.
More modest scoring from Zhou Guodong in this match. A couple of low half centuries.
47.
This will be the half century hat-trick, and he's, after this ping, just a couple of pots away from wrapping up victory. So Dave Gilbert, if he does lose 3-1, will be on
53.
1 point, 7 frames won. Zhou Yuelong's won 7 frames
54.
in the group up to now. So that match on this table at 4:30, our next action, that will be the crunch.
Yeah, from what we've seen today, I make Zhou Yuelong a big favourite for that match, but
59.
Dave's got a couple of hours now to try and sort his mind out, try and sort his game out if he can. Try and relax, if anything, and just
60.
let it flow.
$62. 64.
Well, this one's in the books.
$67.
And with this win,
71.
Zhou Guodong replaces Ricky Walden at the top of the table. Both have
70.
4 points, but Zhou's won 13 frames, Walden 12.
82 frame in a match. Xiao.
Xiao steps in after Gilbert missed the black. It was his highest break of the match. He reserves his best for last. And now it's a matter of Xiao coming back later on today to take part in the semi-final playoffs. As for Dave Gilbert, his future is uncertain. As for us, well, we're going to bring you some bonus action from Table 2. A really important contest for both Sangam and Zhou Yuelong. And what happens here will indirectly influence the position for Dave Gilbert as well.
Six. Seven.
fairly decent scoring chance, this for Zhou Yuelong, who today has certainly put his scoring boots on. First match against Joe O'Connor was super impressive. 81, 131, 135, the 3 breaks recorded to get the 3-0 win against Joe. He's made a 68 break in this match so far, and slowly unlocking this frame to become another frame winner. They'd like to get the reds away from the black spot as quickly as possible. That will allow him to get the black spot open and the black back on it.
$20.
Are the quarterfinals of the Shanghai Masters very early on in the season, which of course isn't a ranking tournament, and a very, very slow season for Zhou Yuelong, a player that I think will probably be on a lot of people's shortlist as the potential next first-time ranking event winner.
28.
3 last 32 appearances is all he's got to write home about.
Yeah, if he can win this frame, it would help going forward, because he would have 2 points together with Noppon Sankam. And so that match against Dave Gilbert, he could actually afford to lose that one 3-2 and still be okay.
$36.
Of course, if Sankam does lose this frame, he would be marooned on 2 points with his games over, and that would mean that Gilbert could move above him with a victory of any sort against Zhou Yuelong. The Joe O'Connor-Ricky Walden match on table 2 at 4:30, that's a lot more academic. Might decide who plays who in the semi-finals, but Walden's through, O'Connor's out.
Another perfectly played positional shot there from Zhou Yuelong. Getting that cue ball to bounce a fraction off this top cushion, can just float this red in, and is now absolutely perfect to take this frame. He smiled as he left the arena actually after the previous one, because as a player, when your opponent's on a maximum, as soon as they get over that 73 points mark, you really want them to do the business. Very long sort of giggled to himself, a little glance at Noppon Sankam to just offer his condolences almost. It was a very good chance for one. But this is a very good chance now for 3-1. No sympathy out there in the heat of battle.
58. 59.
One more red required, and he's got multiple available to play on. Chance of another century for Zhou Yuelong today. Well, he's missed the black, and he's missed it by some way. And the frame is not safe yet.
What a switcheroo that could be. Remember, if Sankam can win this frame and then win the decider to prevail in the match, he's in the semi-finals.
Oh, and he's done the right thing here for me. Had the perfect angle on that black to just float over for this one awkward red. If he gets this shot right, the pot and the position, he creates a great chance for himself for a steal, and this would really, really hurt Zhou Yuelong. I think he's got an injury knock on. He's limping around the table. He's like clinging on for dear life for some shots. He's maybe hurt his ankle or something, but there you see.
Yeah, we noticed that, didn't we, during the 147 attempt? Beware the injured snooker player. Many moons ago, Alex Higgins
40.
fell out of a window and he really damaged his ankle. He was hopping around so badly, and he played a match literally hopping around the table at the European Open in Deauville in 1989 and won the match. I believe it was against Les Dodd. Anyway, the ankle did improve, but not immediately, and he was still limping quite badly when he won the Irish Masters.
50.
It's uncanny how often that happens, players falling out of windows. We've heard some excuses down the years, haven't we?
21.
Yeah, considering the year it was, that was Windows 89. Well, I think even Higgins would struggle to fall out of two windows at the same time, but you know what I mean.
Well, regardless as to whatever Noppon has done to his ankle or his foot or his leg or wherever it may be hurting, this is a glorious chance for a steal, and he's still going strong here. All the balls nicely situated for him. Just a series of little stuns and screws required, it seems. Just keep close control of his cue ball and he'll be all right. Well, he's not landed the correct side of the blue there. So this red is now going to be played from slightly further away than he would have liked, but he's a brilliant ball striker, Noppon, and it's a sort of shot that you would fancy him to knock in. Yeah, that's perfect. He left himself straight enough on the red where he didn't need to do too much with the cue ball. He knew that in just potting it with stun, trying to kill the pace of the cue ball off the red, that he was always going to have a low angle on this pink, which is ideal. Can just float this across, side cushion just before the middle pocket. Back up for the yellow. Well, Zhou Yuelong was 2-0 up in this game and absolutely cruising. All of a sudden, a maximum attempt from Noppon.
42.
And now this.
Yes, missing blacks off the spot, not recommended. We saw that in the closing frame with Dave Gilbert on table one a few moments ago, and now here as well.
44.
He really is in pain. It seems to me as though it's his right ankle. And I think he's actually struggling more than he was a couple of frames ago.
Dangerous sport, snooker.
51.
No, all jokes aside, he's done very well here, actually, because you can clearly see that He is struggling. Good job he's not damaged his
56.
arms because they're clearly working fine.
Pink and black needed for an almighty steal.
$62.
There I was doing the permutations for a Zhou Yuelong victory, but that's very much on hold.
$69 in the frame. Not
It looked as though Zhou was strolling to a 3-1 success. Noppon Sangam is not strolling anywhere, but he's back to 2-2. Welcome back, everyone, to a really important frame in Group 7 of the BetVictor Championship League. Both Stephen Horworth and I have been doing some calculations here. And I think by winning that fourth frame, Noppon Sangam, as Zhou knocks in a cracking red, I reckon Noppon Sangam has done enough to make the semi-final playoffs, and I'll tell you why. The worst he can be now is 2 points from 5 matches if he loses this frame. Then he would be on 10 frames won, 10 frames lost. The best that Dave Gilbert can do if he beats Zhou Yuelong 3-0 later would be 2 points, 10 frames won, 10 frames lost. So they would have an identical record in that regard, but Sangam won their head-to-head
6.
yesterday 3-1. So I think he's okay. I think he's in.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Phil. I think your maths is correct.
7.
And I'll tell you what, when you consider just how close he came to losing that frame in the match, that's the kind of escape that often leads to people winning groups.
It's amazing, isn't it, just how quickly things can turn around, and it can literally be just a ball here and there in these groups. Had Noppon have lost that frame and with it the match, it would have been a nervy old wait for him, really, because that's also what can happen. You can be relying on results, waiting for results and hoping for players to win. Certain amount of frames and all sorts comes into play, so at least he's put it into his own hands.
Yeah, so Zhou Guodong, Ricky Walden, Noppon Sangam in the semi-finals, and it's either Gilbert or Zhou Yuelong to join them. And Zhou would do himself a power of good by winning this frame. Bear in mind, Gilbert and Zhou go head-to-head at 4:30.
Yuelong 7.
I don't know for certain, but I get the impression Noppon Sangam won't know he's in the semi-finals, because those calculations were quite involved. So I think he'll give this frame every commitment.
Yeah, there's no way that Noppon knows his situation currently while he's involved in this match still, but of course as soon as it finishes he'll realise that he is in the semi-finals. Huge relief to him, no doubt. Remember, there are big financial benefits of making those playoffs. An extra £1,000 for the players, just getting to the last 4, and then the frames won incentive goes up dramatically as well. It's £100 per frame won in the group stages and £300 per frame won in the knockout. So the prize money can start to significantly increase come the evening session. course, all that seems relatively irrelevant because of the carrot that is dangling the final place available into the winners group. There's a lot of prize money up for grabs in that winners group. Champion of champions on the line for someone as well, potentially.
For a second, that Sankalm had left the red closest to the cue ball. If he has, what a blunder that is. Zhou Yuelong was certainly interested.
One.
Well, what a mistake that could prove to be. Nothing to do with the cue ball there, Zhou, just making sure he got the pot. It was a delicate little one. When the cue ball and object ball are close together like that, it's a little bit deceiving at times, but played it nicely. It looks a great chance, this, because of how the balls are spread, but once again, and as always, you'd like to get the black spot open as quickly as possible. The pink spot is available, but then it may tie the pink up, so doesn't necessarily want that to happen.
Six.
Yes, and also psychologically difficult because Zhou Yuelong, well aware he was so close to victory in the previous frame, and now he's got to do it all again. Big thing here, does he have any kind of angle on the blue? If it's dead straight, you would have to leave a degree of distance. I think he is just okay. He's just on the right side of the blue marginally. Yeah, but even so, couldn't get cozy.
11.
Yeah, he's not out of the woods yet, Zhou Yuelong. And as I say, this chance, it looks great, but it isn't just yet. It could be soon. He's probably 3 or 4 important positional shots away from making this a great match-winning chance. This is the first of them. And that's not it.
Clearly playing on the red to leave a much straighter black than this, and he didn't make the cannon. Just a reminder, only the second match on table 2 in this session. 2 completed matches on table 1. This is the last frame of the session because it's a 6-man group due to the withdrawal of Jack Jones yesterday. So this is the last action until 4:30 local time. And the break in play could do wonders for Noppon Sankam to get the injured leg feeling a little better. Of course, rest assured, when we leave the commentary box, Stephen and I will ask him what's the situation.
Well, he's been very unfortunate there, Zhou Yuelong, and I say that because that was a very tough safety return that he had. He had to try and catch that red very, very thin on the top cushion, which is not an easy task. Usually catching the bump of the middle pocket would be a very poor shot, but he was in trouble there. But at first glance, he's left nothing for Noppon, so a massive stroke of fortune.
Although he doesn't know it's Sankong through to his second group semi-final in succession. In Group 6 on Thursday, he fought back from 2-0 down to 2-2 against Joe O'Connor, helped by a 143 break. But O'Connor put together a 57 of great note in the decider, which was a very hard-working break. So that's why he didn't quite progress. But to make 2 consecutive playoffs, pretty good going, especially in this instance. Well, again, Stephen, all kinds of contacts and kisses, and it looked as though he'd left everything, but the black is blocking the path to the obvious red over the top pocket. This isn't quite as straightforward as it really should have been.
Yeah, it could have been very straightforward, but I think Zhou Yuelong can see enough of the side cushion here. Brace a right-hand side, just try and turn the cue ball over, catch the red thin. Yeah, that's okay. He's on this black as well.
Yeah, potting that red off the cushion was never an issue. It was just how the cue ball would react, and it's A1.
I can't help but notice Zhou Yuelong's cue. He seems to have something almost stuck on it. Well, very unique design. I wonder if he's got a new cue. I can't ever remember seeing that. Either way, this is now another very good chance for Zhou Yuelong. The red that Noppon attempted was, well, it probably felt like it was all his eggs in one basket.
60. Seventeen.
Again, that cue ball just tracking top side of the blue. Makes such a difference, that. It really is. It's such a basic shot to get right, but at times it can be so damaging when you don't.
Now, we've seen quite a few of these shots missed by players overcutting. I doubt he will miss it, but of course he missed a much simpler black on 59 in the previous frame. No, that's fine, but the kiss is not.
23.
Now the pink may just squeeze past the red into the middle pocket, but again it's very missable because it's thin. Can he just drop it through and play a holding cannon off one of the reds? Yeah, that's worked out fine.
Nopon Sankon will be sitting there feeling rather disappointed. But as soon as he goes upstairs into the tournament office, I think he'll get some good news.
30.
Maybe he needs to be told, because this is his last round-robin match. The last thing we want is Sankon going, leaving the venue, thinking he's out. Wouldn't be the first time, Stephen. Not for him, but for other players have done it.
36.
Well, it's not over yet. It should be, but it isn't. Zhou Yuelong missed that black off the spot in the previous frame when he was an absolute certainty to win the match at that visit. Wouldn't be taking anything for granted here. If he pots this red and gets nicely back out for his pink, it's all over.
Can you believe it? That was frame in match ball. Black off the spot on 59 in the previous frame. Now that, if Sankon wins this match, that would be extraordinary.
Well, there you go. It's happened again, which is exactly the point I was trying to make. Oh, but Nopon would be so disappointed with that. It wasn't a great chance to steal the frame and match, but it was a chance to get back in it, at least. Zhou Yuelong cannot believe he's missed that blue off the spot.
no clearance to save or indeed win a match is easy from well behind. But the balls in frame 4 were a lot more in Sankom's favour than they are now. And that doesn't give any encouragement out. Zhou will be happy to see a red go near the side cushion. More insurance policy, Stephen, the better.
Yeah, he won't be removing that red by the yellow now. And doubt he'll be playing the red close to the right corner either, so we're just trying to do something with these two reds in open play. He may look to try and plant one red onto the other here. Yeah, that's what he tried. He didn't get close to the pot. Playing at that pace, there was always a chance that another red could run safe, and one has. Now, can Noppon re-promote that one? This is now a very messy table for him. He can just come in behind the red cushion first and send it back down the table. He's played that nicely, getting the cue ball over towards that corner of the table would always be helpful. Again, he doesn't want to remove that red on the side cushion by the yellow, so he'll be playing anything but that, surely. I'm just trying to send it along the rail to keep it on the cushion, but he has not done a very good job of it. He's left a couple of tempters for Noppon Sankam.
He's being so stubborn.
Again, the shot from Zhou Yuelong was so poor. I know he was struggling to find another option, but for me, anything but moving that red away from the yellow and the side cushion. He didn't execute his decision very well anyway. And oh, well, what a miss that is.
Up on Senkam.
He's so disappointed, disgusted that he misses the pink. He's conceded. And so, Zhou Yuelong comes through by 3 frames to 2. That is 2 wins out of 2 this morning. He started off in fantastic session with a couple of big centuries in overcoming Joe O'Connor. It was tougher going against Noppon Sankam, but now he's right back in the thick of things in terms of making the semi-final playoffs later on. Now that's the end of the action for this session, but we will be back at 4:30 in around 2.5 hours time. It is on table 1, the crunch match. Dave Gilbert against Zhou Yuelong to determine who will join Noppon Sankam, Ricky Walden and Xiao Guodong in the semi-final playoffs later on. As for the match on table 2 at 4:30, Joe O'Connor will be looking for £300 and pride against Ricky Walden. But of course, the result there could affect who plays who in the semi-finals later on, probably around 5:30, 6 o'clock local time here. Joe O'Connor is out of the tournament. Xiao, Walden, Noppon Sankam still battling. Into the semi-finals they go. One more place to be filled. So we hope to have your company for that match, and indeed the semi-finals and final of Group 7 of the BetVictor Championship League a little later on. For now though, from Stephen Hallworth, from Peter Lyons and myself, Phil Yates, have a good afternoon.